Salutations, good day, greetings, and welcome, Townies, to what promises to be an epic food battle here in Los Angeles.
Ding, ding, ding.
In this corner, opened in 1908, Philippe's the Original. And in the other corner, also opened in 1908, Cole's. Which one will be crowned the originator of the famous French dip sandwich?
Welcome back, Townies. Today we are in downtown Los Angeles visiting not one, but two iconic restaurants that both claim to be the originator of the French dip sandwich.
Unbelievable.
How dare they? All right, guys, the first place we're visiting is Philippe's, the Original. They put it in their name.
Yeah, that has to mean something.
That has to mean something. We are close to Chinatown, where we have filmed before.
Also close to Union Station.
Union Station and Dodger Stadium.
Yep.
All right, we are excited to get in there and start this epic battle.
But before we do, make sure you like and subscribe below, everybody. We want to welcome everybody back to what is our second season and the start of another round of delicious historic spots that we're bringing to you.
2 seasons!
2 seasons.
Yay! Woo!
So yeah, we're going to get inside and do this. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share us with your friends. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yes, fund the epic battles by liking and subscribing.
We'll see you guys inside.
See you in there. Okay, we're going to do a beef dip, a lamb dip, and we need mac salad.
Yeah, we need a pickled egg. Okay, guys, well, we're back at the table here. Lindsay and I, we shot the works here. We have an original French dip sandwich.
The OG.
The OG, with a side of au jus. I got a pickled eggs. I got some to take home, but these are pickled with beets, which is why they have their red color, which is a unique thing. It's something I grew up on. My grandmother used to make them this way with beets in a jar. I got a side of their famous potato salad.
It's famous?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I want to try that.
And then Lindsay got the lamb dip, which is something that was on the menu when they first started. He sold his lamb as well as the beef dip sandwiches.
So we wanted to represent both.
Yep. And then we got pie for dessert, which we will show you. Lindsay will hold that up. Look at that son of a gun right there. That's a chocolate cream pie made here, made on premises, and they're known for it. Okay, so Philippe's was opened in 1908 by a French gentleman named Philippe Mathieu, M-A-T-H-I-E-U, which is the French spelling of that word. He came here from France, went to Buffalo in 1901. Then in 1903, moved to Los Angeles from Buffalo and started this restaurant in 1908 at 300 North Alameda Avenue, which...
not at this location.
Not at this location, yeah.
And there's a reason why.
There is a reason why. So the way the French beef sandwich history is told, Philippe was making a sandwich for a fireman, and accidentally dropped the sandwich in a roasting pan that was full of beef juice. And the fireman, who was in a hurry, said, you know, I'll take it. I'll take it that way anyway, so just wrap it up. And so he did, and the fireman left. And the next day, the fireman comes back with the rest of his squad and asked him to make the sandwich the same way because it was so good, so dipped in the juice.
Wow.
So he started selling them. He called it the dip. And this is why I think that Philippe's, the Original, is the original, is because he was
such an outlandish story.
But he was French, and everyone called him Frenchie, and he called his sandwich the dip. So it just became the French dip. So I think that has a little bit more merit. We'll go to the next location, Cole's, and we'll hear the story, and you guys can decide whether or not you think that Philippe is the original or Cole's. And on that, we're gonna try the French dip sandwich. Now you see, it's thinly sliced beef. on a French roll because he's French, and then they dip it so you can see the wetness in there from the.
And Matt got it wet. So there's 3 levels. You want to let them know about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Light, I think they dip it once.
Yep.
And then I think there's like a double dip. And then there's wet, where they just let it swim around in the au jus. I, of course, did not get mine soggy, because you can get it on the side and then dip, which is what I think the whole effing point of a French dip is.
Guys, that is so good.
Why is it good?
The beef is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's not dry. The bread is already soft, but then the juice makes it like right on the cusp of being soggy. Like it's not, I wouldn't say it's soggy. I think it's because it's like beef dripping, so it's fat as opposed to like broth. So the fat doesn't absorb into the bread and make it fall apart and mushy. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's magic, if it was a wizard. What do you think?
I mean, for me, yes, it's good, but depends on what you like on your sandwich.
Right, that's exactly
I
it
like
too.
mayonnaise.
Yep.
I'm like cheddar. I like
right.
cheese. Like, and then in its purity, yeah.
I mean, you got to remember, 1908. This is kind of what they did. They just took, something that was quick and easy. It was the sandwich. So they would put beef or whatever they had.
But what did he open this place up to be?
He sold
Originally.
beef sandwiches, lamb sandwiches. He sold blood sausage, liver pate. It was sort of a deli. They had sides and stuff like that. But
So his beef sandwich was just the meat and bread.
yeah, and honestly, if he hadn't dropped it in that pan or however it was invented, if he wasn't known for the French dip, this place might not have had the longevity that it's had. That, my friends, was a happy accident.
That is. So then, do we know when they started this like war of who?
Well, both Philippe's and Cole's opened in 1908, and both claim to be the originator of the French dip sandwiches, both with different stories, obviously. We'll get into Cole's story when we get to Cole's, but and then you guys can decide, what you think. You can kind of see how it makes sense for Philippe to be the originator of the sandwich because he's French. It's a French dip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I want to know what Cole's story is.
Hey, Linz.
Yeah.
Do you want a fun fact
I do.
about this coffee? This is Philippe's coffee, and it was 5 cents a cup all the way up until 1977.
Wow.
Yeah, they charged the same 5 cents from the day they opened in 1908 to 1977.
That's a good deal.
That was 49 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 1977, they raised it to 9 cents a cup, which it stayed until...
Didn't even double it.
Didn't even double it.
Okay.
Until 2012, when they raised it to its final and today's price of 45 cents.
That's still a pretty good...
Still the cheapest cup of coffee in Los Angeles, I
How
think.
is it?
Oh, it's great.
We are a little bit of pie connoisseurs because, as we've mentioned, we did own a, I don't want to say chain because it wasn't a chain, but we owned several pie and coffee shops. Actually started here in downtown Los Angeles and made pie. Now, this is different than how we made it. The crust, a little bit more flaky.
Yeah, a little crumblier.
Crumblier, like a cracker.
Yeah.
But who doesn't love just diner cream pie?
But that's a diner pie all day long. Delis aren't usually known
Apple
for their
pan's
pies.
still better. Sorry. Try this out.
So here we go. Pickled egg time.
Don't judge
Again,
him for this.
This is a pickle brine, hard-boiled eggs, and then they have beets in it. So that's what makes the
That's
color.
such an old man thing
Yeah,
to eat.
I love pickled eggs though. If you're a pickled egg fan, this place is known for the pickled eggs.
Who goes around life saying, I'm a pickled egg fan?
That's great. That's a really good egg.
What is it like taste like to you?
It has a hard-boiled egg, but there's a vinegar flavor to it, like pickles. It doesn't have the beet flavor you think it has. A lot of people think
All right, I'll try it.
it's going to be super beet flavored. It's not. Just take a nibble.
Tastes like a beet egg.
It's a standard bar food. So Philippe owned the restaurant. He sold it once to a guy who basically killed the restaurant within a year. Bought it back.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then eventually sold it again in 1927 to the Martin family, who were stable owners, local stable owners. And then they brought in their in-laws, the Binder family, who they bought it for $5,000 from Philippe, and they own it to this day. That enabled Philippe to keep his promise to his wife that he would be retired by the age of 50.
You could retire in 27 on $5,000.
Yeah, a loaf of bread was like,
Man, they had it.
like a chest hair and a high five.
A pickled egg.
So yeah, it was bonkers, but I'm sure they had a lot more money than $5,000 because they ran a business for 20 something years, but they sold the business for 5 G's. Here's a fun fact for you. In 1951, they had to move the location because of the city eminent domain. So they were forced to move from their location at 300 North Alameda to this location, which is down on Alameda.
And just so for you watching that don't know what that means, eminent domain, that means the city comes and says, we're going to take this land back from you.
Yeah, you own this land, now we own this
Now
land.
we have it. Yeah.
So this was a machine shop here on the bottom
Oh.
and a hotel on top. It's on a hill, so you can kind of see that the hotel had its own entrance on the top side. And this was an operating machine.
All right, guys, we are going to digest what we just ate because we have another place to go. We'll see you outside while we get prepped for part 2 of this.
The second round.
Woo-wee. Okay, guys, we are out of Philippe's and out of room.
Round 1.
Round 1 is in the bag.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, Philippe's was obviously an amazing spot with full of history, full of that old-timey restaurant feel that you come to expect from places like this.
Before we go, if you are a townie, you know what we have to do.
The Sasquatch School! Okay, guys, Philippe's gets a 3.5 squatches.
3.5 squatches.
It's pretty comfortable. The seats are ample. You can fit fine. They're also made of wood from the early 1900s.
A little mismatched on the chairs.
Yeah.
We found a booth, which was, kind of comfortable.
If you find yourself sitting at Philippe's at hour 2, then something's super wrong with your life.
So we are on to Kohl's, and we are going to decide. Today we will decide. It will be decided.
Who is the original?
Who is the original?
We're going to lay this to rest. Okay, guys, are you ready for Battle of the Beefs round 2?
We have now traveled from northeast downtown to the historic core of downtown.
Which seems a little less historic than it used to.
A little bit. To the next place, the next contender on this epic battle of the beefs, Kohl's.
That's right.
Now, like Philippe's, Kohl's also opened in 1908, which makes this so difficult to figure out. And they, of course, claim to be the originator of the French dip.
That's right.
So we are going to head inside and try to find out who did it first.
We'll see you guys inside.
See you next.
Okay, guys, we're inside. We made it inside okay. Took a minute.
They opened 10 minutes late, by the way.
Yeah, that just...
We're going to be honest about
Yeah.
that. They are supposed to open at 3. We didn't get in until 10 after 3.
That's true.
So-
But Lindsay's okay. We plied her with some of her favorite liquid refreshment.
Self-soothing.
A Chardonnay. So the world is right and stuff. So let's jump into some fun facts about Kohl's. All right? To get this Battle of the Beef started.
Let's do it.
So, all right. Henry Cole opened Kohl's in 1908, the same year Philippe opened his roast beef spot. And he opened his spot in the Pacific Electric Railway building, which, if you know, was the home to all of the red car lines here in the downtown Los Angeles area. So in the 20s, 30s, 40s, even some of the 50s, Los Angeles had an amazing transit system called the red car. It was a Pacific Electric, and they ran all over the city, into the valley, down to Santa Monica. I mean, they went everywhere. It was at one point that this city actually had a decent public transportation. Kohl's opened his roast beef spot in that building. So this was the food hall for the Pacific Electric Railroad main hub in downtown Los Angeles on 6th Street. Okay, guys, so here is the story about the French dip and Coles. Legend has it that, what's his name? Jack Garlinghouse, who was the head chef at Coles, was asked to dip his roast beef sandwich in the au jus sauce for a customer who had bad gums.
Oh, yeah.
Ew, right? And I guess it was delicious. It became a sensation. And all the customers started asking for their roast beef sandwich dipped. Just like that. That's how they tell us it happened.
And I think it's because that customer had been to Philippe's and knew it was possible, and therefore why they asked for it.
Right. That's,
Use a noggin on that.
but it could go the other way too.
I mean, this is obviously a time when there wasn't social media, so word of mouth across the downtown probably moved very slow.
Very slow.
So I think it's totally plausible that around the same time, whoever's inventing this sandwich, somebody carries it to the other place and asks for it.
Yeah,
Therefore,
completely plausible.
But the cool thing is, can we talk about this?
Yeah.
In 1933,
right.
when Prohibition ended, Coles set a record for selling, I gotta look at the number here, what was it, 19,000 gallons of beer in one day.
That is a lot of beer.
That's a lot of beer. So simultaneously, they also set a record for the longest lines to the bathroom. We do a lot of comedy here on My Townies.
It's not just food, it's jokes.
That tells you the people were ready for the end of Prohibition to sell 19,000. The fact that they even had 19,000
That's the suspicious
on
part.
hand?
Where'd they get
Where did
19,000
that come
gallons?
from?
Yeah, that's
Actually,
crazy.
some of that was moonshine.
Yeah. Coles was sold in 2008 to the 213 Hospitality Group, Zed Moses' group, and they are the innovation behind the restaurant renovation that Los Angeles saw 2007, 2008 until about 2016.
But the 213 group really did set to try to preserve these historic places, and I do believe Coles is listed as a historic landmark.
It absolutely is.
Currently now, the 213 group has been renamed Pouring with Heart.
So, new company,
apparently
new
new
ownership.
company, their 9-year-old daughter named their company for them.
What do we order?
Matt got the original French dip, the way that it comes for Coles. You can order half sandwiches. Matt got a full, I ordered him a full. I got a half with goat cheese because that just sounded delicious.
Did you get the lamb?
No, I went with the regular
you went roast beef.
Yeah. So we're going to go straight up the way that God intended here, but I wanted to try the goat cheese on the beef. You can get coleslaw, you can get mac and cheese, you can get various sides.
Of course, we got pickled eggs.
Pickled eggs. Not as many options as Philippe's here.
Philippe is more of like a full, I would say deli.
Deli with like the
sides
pie
and salads.
and the sides. This is more of a bar atmosphere. Like
sure.
there's people shooting pool right now. We have been waiting for our food for probably about almost like 25 minutes now.
Yeah. All right. So here
That's no joke.
at Coles, they don't dip it for you like Philippe's.
Yeah.
So we give you a little cup of jus, and you dip it in there.
Try it.
I'm gonna give it a shot. You ready for this?
First bite.
It's super good. Yeah. Philippe's is a little bit more tender. I think it's because this is cut a little bit more rare than Philippe's.
Yeah.
But
Philippe's is really well done.
this is not a bad French dip at all. You gonna try it?
Yeah. So I opted to get that goat cheese. Didn't get mayonnaise. So I got half of a sandwich.
Which looks like a full.
It does, because that's how big it is for half. It's not bad.
Oh, that's good.
I don't remember ordering tots. Got Matt the side of mac and cheese. Here we go. But,
Yeah. Between the two.
well, it depends again on how you like your meat. Philippe's will never ever be rare. It's really well done.
Yep.
I prefer my meat, if you're a townie, to be almost alive. And so I preferred Cole's. I don't know what made me get goat cheese on mine. I thought it was unusual that they offered it. So
It's good though.
it's really good.
Yeah,
it's
better-
like creamy.
Yeah.
So instead of like, it's like I'm kind of substituting for the mayonnaise right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the pickled egg cam.
How is it? You got a lot of pickled eggs lately.
Oh, I know.
Good?
Very good. Has paprika on the top, so there's a little spicy kick to it. But hands down, I think I prefer Philippe's better.
Really?
Yeah,
Because of that.
they have a bit more of a pickle taste to them.
Okay, so the red car bar, which you have seen from Matt now is cutting to it,
Yep.
was actually used in the Forrest Gump scene that was supposed to take place in New York. I think where
New Year's Eve,
New
yeah.
Year's Eve.
He gets kissed at for New Year's Eve at the bar,
But not by Jenny.
not by Jenny, but a
Okay.
couple of loose women that follow him back to their house. Yeah, so this is the bar that they actually filmed that in.
So Forrest Gump was filmed here amongst probably many others.
Oh yeah, they do television shows
Yeah.
and films here all the time. But I've suspected this a long time, and it's still not confirmed. But I actually read something about it, which made it even more plausible. Is the fact that this restaurant and bar is the setting and the inspiration for the restaurant and bar in the 1986 Disney film Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, that makes sense.
So that entire film, the basis of that is the destruction and dismantling of the red car line in the Pacific Electric building. There's a conspiracy involved. I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't watched that movie, although I can't imagine that there are many people that haven't seen it.
So what's his problem?
Toon killed his brother.
What? Huh?
Dropped the piano on his head.
But the bar that she works at was modeled after this bar, and they serve pickled eggs in that. And on the chalkboard, they wrote French dip is on the menu. And then there's a scene with Roger and Eddie Valiant where they are hiding out in a secret room that was used during Prohibition. And this place actually had a secret room in the back that was also used during Prohibition that they had turned into a bar called the Varnish. Now, as
which
of
we had been to many years
we had been to
ago
it.
when we lived down here.
But it's probably why they had 19,000 of gallons of beer at hand when they
Maybe
lived
that's
it.
why.
But yeah, I don't think that bar is open anymore.
It's really a shame to see all of that work and all of those places that we used to visit when we were down here during that time are just gone.
Yeah, it's real
It's
sad.
like obliterated. Like it is like a war zone down here in certain areas. You need to be really careful. Just be mindful. If you do come to the historic core, it feels completely different than Philippe's side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit more seedy.
Yeah.
You're right next to Skid Row.
You're
I mean, you're
literally
like 2
blocks
blocks.
from Skid Row.
So-
So what they need is they need people to come down here. They need people to patronize these places and to try to rejuvenate it, which is what was happening prior to COVID. So it kind of seems like they've taken a few steps backwards, but hopefully there will be another gentrification of downtown. We're hoping.
Yeah.
Because downtown has some of the most amazing architecture.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And just the history. Like we just parked right next to the Cecil Hotel, which Matt and I were talking about. We were watching a YouTuber
Yeah.
talking about.
We're completely fascinated with that
So
hotel.
fascinated with the Cecil because of literally the sword history.
Yeah, if you haven't, Google Cecil Hotel, Los Angeles, and you will absolutely be amazed by all of the amount of, murders and deaths that occurred.
Anyways, the point is that history is what fascinates us. My father was a history teacher, actually, and he majored in history. And the one thing my dad always said growing up, Ken Hollister would say, is that history is doomed to repeat itself. So that's one thing that we like with Matt and I, to celebrate the history of these places, but also because this is eventually, you know, what we need to know about our past to get to where we are today.
Absolutely right. That's absolutely right. Okay, Townies, that ends our epic battle of the beefs here in downtown Los Angeles, and more specifically at Kohl's. So you're probably asking yourselves, who won the battle?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That is going to be up to you guys to decide. For Lindsay and I, we think that it's probably Philippe, the original, that we visited first, because he was a French guy.
Yep.
I mean, his nickname was Frenchie.
Frenchie.
But on the other hand, what if Kohl's did originate the sandwich and it became so popular that Philippe picked it up? It's really hard to tell.
So is. But you know what? Either way, one thing we know for sure is that the French dip sandwich originated right here in Los Angeles.
That's right. That's right.
And that's pretty cool. But you know what? Forget all of this battling thing.
Okay.
If you're a fan of the channel and you know us, you know that the real fight is for seating and good seating.
Oh, that's
so we've got to do
the Sasquatch scale. All right, guys, I'm going to give Kohl's 3.5 squatches.
Is that before or after you eat 2 French dips in one day?
That is all the way throughout. They have wooden chairs. They've got some booths. They're a little bit old and dated, but you'll be able to find a seat here that accommodates your size. And so it's pretty good pickings for everybody.
But we don't suggest that you do both of these places in one day. You leave that up to the professionals like us.
That's right. We're trained.
Because we're trained in eating multiple meals a day. Anyways, guys, this has been so much fun. We still do want to hear your thoughts.
For sure.
Down in the comments below. Battle this out. Who is the originator? Well, while you're battling it out in the comments below, we are on to the next spot that helped shape the city it's in, and season 2.
That's right, guys. Welcome to season 2 officially.
It's a fish.
All right, so if you are a fan of the channel, you already know the drill. But if you're new to the channel, please click below, like and subscribe, share us with your friends. It really helps us with the channel. It also helps remove all the clowns from the sewers.
Oh, yeah, that's really important, guys.
Yeah, it's
that's
pretty scary
important work.
All right, guys, we're on to the next spot. Thank you much for visiting My Town Eats once again, season 2, and we'll see you guys at the next spot.
See ya.
Take care.